Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with Damon Benning and Jacob Padilla.
Cam Bam, the voice guy, that lets me know that it is another episode of Nebraska Preps Postgame. We had to move to Thursday because the free world yesterday seemed like they wanted to be the bearer of bad news.
Oh, no.
I did not have the mental capacity. So I'm like, hey, can you do me a solid? Jake was like, yes, but I'm on a tight schedule. So we got to bust our tail. And I was like, okay, fine. We're on a tight schedule. If you got another day off of the playoffs, what are you in a hurry for?
Yeah, fortunately, time of the year that everything kind of dies down, and really the only thing I've got is the weekend tournaments. There's nothing I really have to be at during the week in the morning, so we've got some time we've got some flexibility here.
That's cool. And I know you're a hot commodity, so I don't know what your other media engagements are.
Mutual friend Connor Happer.
Oh yeah, is that today?
11.
Oh, so that's the 11th.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense. I like C-Hap. He's a good egg. He's a funny guy. And he killed Sipple about his bowling shirt today, so that was even funnier on social media. Well, I love his sense of humor.
Yeah. Oh.
So how are things, man? A busy week. You were. I don't want to read into it, but for me, I will. It seemed like you were very happy to have some options to play for your basketball team this past weekend.
Well, it's kind of amazing. We look like a much better team when we've got kind of our full team together, or at least close to it. Mm-hmm. We're missing some pretty key players that first weekend, and it showed. And this weekend, a lot of fun. And now we got to go back to being shorthand. I've got 7 available for the last 2 tournaments of the spring, so that's going to be fun.
So that was your first time in Wichita? I unfortunately feel like I should establish residency. What'd you think of the setup? Did you play at the Forum? Where were your?
Well, we played at the Wichita Hoops.
Okay.
I got a bunch of courts there.
It's a nice facility.
That was the main location, and then we played at a YMCA.
Farha?
Yeah. So can't say I've ever played at YMCA in an AAU tournament before, but it also doesn't look like any YMCA I've ever seen before.
It's a nice facility.
Yeah.
Farha, I think he started, like you'll hear that name, and it's Sam Farha, who is a heck of a poker player. But I believe the family originally made all their money in construction. They did development.
Okay.
And so Sam Farha is a very popular name in the Wichita area.
Well, there were 2 Farha buildings that they used
on opposite ends of town.
Yeah, and unfortunately, one of my players, who shall remain unnamed, I guess you can probably blame his parents, but took him to the wrong one.
So the one with the water slide, like
and dropped him off.
Yeah,
and had to go pick him up and go as fast as possibly can to get over to the other one.
It's a 26-minute drive between both facilities. I've done it 2,000 times.
Made it just before tip-off, though, so that's okay.
That's amazing. It's a legit 26-minute drive.
That's their business. We'll let it go. But so, yeah, we first game Saturday, 8 a.m. For my Nebraska Supreme 15s. We turned the ball over 20 times, got ourselves down 18, shot 4-24 from 3, and found a way to get that thing down to 2 points with about 45 seconds to go. Instead of scrambling, we're playing it out. We get a double, end up knocking the ball into the backcourt, and we just can't get there first. And they throw it up, and they get a layup, and it's basically a ball game. So, again, it just kind of shows like the lack of familiarity, lack of practice time together. But from then on, we played really, really good basketball. Went 3-0 the rest of the weekend, plus 48-point differential for the weekend as a whole. Had 2 running clock games that we won, and just finally shot the ball well from 3. Like, that's the thing that's been missing for us for the first couple of weekends. In that first game, obviously, shot over 40% in the last 3 games combined. Only had, after 20 turnovers in the first game, only had 23 turnovers in the last 3 combined.
Okay.
So finally found a groove there.
Anything worse than empty trips?
Yeah,
like,
that's that.
I mean, you don't even get a chance to get it up on the glass or get fouled or get a empty trips are a killer.
And it kills your defense too if it's live ball turnovers, because you're giving up either unbalanced floors or just breakaway layups on the other end, and doesn't even give you a chance to defend. So, the ball security is always a major key in basketball, no matter what level or setting it is. And we look like a lot better when we're giving ourselves chances to get shots up. And good to have Nate Kelly back. That kid is a difference maker.
Yeah.
Just really, really steady, solid, shooting really well from three. Such a good ball screen player. Like I put in a quick set for empty side pick and roll for him this week. And man, he just makes the right read every time. It's just nice.
Two-man games are tough, right? Yeah. Like, especially if you get a guy that's handling the ball that's got some patience.
Yeah. And I mean, the 5-man on a string ball screen coverage isn't something you typically see a lot in AAU. So you got someone that can actually make the reads and get the ball where it needs to go, whether that's going to scoring or making the pass. It really is a major advantage. So nice having that option. Won't have them for these next 2 weeks, but we should have them for full July. And Derek Tonjes from Ashland Greenwood just continues.
Good pick.
Solid.
I thought you'd like that pickup.
He's been double figures every game except for one so far this season, leading us in scoring with about 14 a game this weekend. Again, close to 60% shooting. And I was talking to him about this at practice today. He still hasn't made a three for whatever reason. He's our best 3-point shooter in practice, and the ball just hasn't gone in for him. A bunch of rim outs just won't go. So if that starts falling like it did during the JV season for him, look out, that kid's going to take off.
So what did you think of the overall competition as you're kind of sizing it up?
So this is the first weekend I was looking just at the Pro 16 primarily because only the Nebraska Supreme teams were down there in St. Louis. This weekend,
you got to see
saw more of the next pro part of it with Omaha Elite and the Lincoln Supreme teams are down there as well. And the competition is pretty spread out. Again, the Pro 16 was pretty good, but I mean, Omaha Elite just basically wasted a weekend. Watch them play. They just killed everyone they played. 20+ steals every game, just run outs. Like they didn't play a team that had any idea how to deal with their kind of pressure. So they didn't get challenged.
That's what we were saying kind of last week. They play hard. Yeah. I said, they gave ETG all they wanted in the first half and some. Yeah. In the first recruit look, man, you could kind of see the potential.
Yeah, and so they've been told they're moving up in pools, competition level, whatever it may be, because they definitely need it. Because like I said, nobody on that team got better this weekend because they didn't have to. They could just do whatever they want. So, but it was kind of spread out beyond that. There were some good matchups, some blowouts. I guess for the Nebraska Supreme 17s, they did so well the first weekend. Past weekend didn't do quite as well. They dropped their first 2 games, but they bounced back on Sunday to win 2 games, double-digit comebacks. They were down 15 at half of one. They were down 12 in the second half of the other, and found a way to rally and win both those games. And the last game of the weekend, difference was Antela San Linnell and Jake Hilkman and KG Gatwich coming off the bench. Those guys have been kind of trying to figure out how they fit in with this team, what their roles are, struggling a little bit. They were all terrific in that game. And Antela had 12 points in the second half, only missed 1 shot all game. Had a great 2-man game between him and
his length is bothersome. Yeah. And when he takes good shots,
he's just finishing. Like he struggled a little bit to finish through some contact. Got running some length, some athleticism at that level. And he just every move he made was hitting the jumper, was finishing in the post. Like when he plays like that, they're really tough.
And he showed you a little versatility. He hit the big 3 against Gretna, in districts, and people see that and they kind of salivate a little. It's like, whoa! Now he's not going to stretch you yet. He doesn't shoot it consistent enough, but he does have some versatility to his game. I like his length.
Yep, and so it was kind of up and down. They again lost to max levels. Alex Wilcoxon had 18, Landon Pekorski had 17, but as a team they just didn't shoot nearly as well from 3 as they did the previous weekend overall. They lost 72-66 in that game. That's Tyrese Maxey's program. lost 55-60 to Washington Supreme. Man, Joe Sterling, he's a 2026 kid playing up at the 17U level and hung 31 on him. They let him get off 15 shots in the first half. Just kept losing him time and time again. Just were not locked in. And
reminds me of what Ian Jackson did to ETG.
Yeah, I saw that. That dude's pretty good too. But they shot 6 of 23 from 3 and 15 turnovers. They had 17 turnovers in the first game and gave up a 22-5 run. Like, you're just not going to win doing that. So they were kind of, things went bad and snowballed a little bit, but I said that they rallied on Sunday, finished strong. They beat Colorado Collective Murphy by 56-55. Again, they were down 15 at halftime in that one and held them to 19 second half points. Marcus Glock had 15, got going in the second half. Dak had 13, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, 6 of 19 from 3 and 16 turnovers. So again, the 3-point shooting and the ball security, that's the key for this team. But they found a way to win.
Who else would you utilize to handle the basketball a ton other than Eldon Turner?
Landon Pekorski and Eldon Turner, they play. Coach Freeman plays those guys together a lot. He starts that lineup, and I think they're still kind of figuring out, like, when both those guys are off the court. You've got Carter Mick, you've got KG Gatwich. Neither of them are traditional ball handlers per se. They're more kind of wing scorer types. So that's something they're kind of figuring through, I think, as we go here. So it'll have to be kind of by committee. You're going to have to look to move the ball. And I know they have the big guys. They'll let them bring the ball up as well after rebounds. And they close out the weekend 83-79 win against Midwest Renegade out of Chicago. Another great game from Bengot Dak. 16 points, 5 rebounds. I mentioned Sandlin L had 16 as well. They got 10 from Jake Hilkeman and 8 from KG Gatwich on 4-4 shooting. So they scored 53 points in the second half. They still only shot 7 of 21 from 3, but they found a way to go to work inside the arc. And congrats to Bengot Dak. He committed to Sunrise Christian to do a prep year. After I know the Sunrise, there's some Sunrise people down there. It's right there in their backyard there. So I'm sure doing there a little bit of scouting. And he committed, so that's where he's headed next year for a postgrad.
Yes. So we saw a handful of offers. Trayson Anderson picks up another offer. I think North Dakota State. Frager gets 2 offers. Nebraska and Creighton. Amari Bynum gets an offer from Nebraska. Like, a little bit of local momentum for guys getting off to a good start.
Yeah, and it's good to see that take off a little bit at the 16U summer for those guys as well. You get those early offers, then you see some coaches, oh, who's this? Oh, this kid's got an offer, I got to watch him. And then you'll see
kind of how it works too.
And then coaches come to watch those guys, and maybe they see some of the other guys or some of the kind of lower level coaches, like just gather around those games as well, just kind of as following the crowd a little bit. So yeah, I mean, early offers are good for everybody in a program. It kind of gets the ball rolling a little bit. So happy for Frager, and obviously Amari too. Hopefully get to see him. They're playing a showcase game down in Kansas City this weekend, so only one game and done, but get a chance to see him down there. Plus ETG, we're all together down in Kansas City. So, like, I guess quick highlights here, and then we can get to the ETG, how that went. Nebraska Supreme went 1-3. The 16U team. I got to see that their win against team FEV Airs, and they played really well in that one. Tyson Oddbody
starting to come
had
along.
A great game. Finished really well, 13 points, 6 rebounds. Deacon Courtney from Ralston had 6 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Like, they need those guys to play tough.
I'll tell you what, if Tyson can continue to develop and emerge, he could play a key role at the high school level too, because there's definitely a role for him to play, especially in that starting lineup. Right?
Yeah.
We know about Mitchell Stubblefield and Caleb, right? You need a Barfield to come along. You need a Gettings. You need an Oddbody. You need somebody to kind of come along and be a part of that group.
Yeah, and replace some of what
Tate.
Yeah, and Kevin Brown, who committed to UNK. So
that's for all that he's been through and worked through, that's pretty impressive.
Well, and congrats to him, the scholarships to give him the opportunity to pretty much go wherever he wanted. Didn't have to worry about trying to piece together thing. Got the work done there, and hopefully have a chance to develop there. So, so congrats to him. I saw him over at UBT yesterday working out. So putting in the work.
Always.
Oh man, we lost the StreamYard. Is that just me or is that you too?
Did I lose StreamYard? That's okay. We'll keep rolling. We don't need the visual.
Yeah.
Shane, we good? I'm seeing young Jacob.
Hey, it'll probably reset here in a little bit. Yeah, you just need to log back in. You'll be good.
Okay.
Still have the audio though, right?
Yep, you're still rolling.
We're good.
Oh no, I lost the internet. That's what it is. Okay, we'll roll along until this comes back. I thought for this week finally we were going to get through without any issues. Like we popped up the last couple of weeks, but here we go again.
Growing pains. That's all it is.
Growing pains. Oh, all right.
We do this every week.
But I thought you could. I thought this one could actually fit.
No.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
I'm working on it.
So yeah, the other game I saw, they 39-42 lost to Washington Supreme. Just couldn't find a way to score. Kyle Cannon was good in that one at 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But that's a team that they still got some things to figure out there. So I mentioned Omaha Elite, two blowout wins, went 4-0 by a combined plus 141 points. Saw Lincoln Supreme National 1 17U play, 3 of their 4 games. And Aiden McDowell from Crete had a really good weekend, shot the ball really well. And Zaya Brown from Lincoln Southeast, he was really good as well. Double figures.
You like the upside there?
Yeah, he long, bouncy. He's got decent touch on kind of short little jumpers. So he's been a good pickup for that team, adding there. And then McDowell played with them 15U. Last year he played just with this Crete group and now back playing with them. And it's been a big piece for them. That's good for that team. They ran into some tough competition and then also won in a blowout in a couple of their games. So it's kind of an uneven weekend for them. But I didn't get to see the 16U National 1 team at all, but they went 4-0. They were over at a different building pretty much the whole weekend. But shout out to that crew for a good weekend as well.
And we jump over to Bryan, Texas. Didn't get to see near as much of the 15s and 16s as I wanted to. What'd you think about the overall records versus the competition?
Yep. So right now we're sitting at the 17s went 1-3 and are 1-7 overall in 3SSB play. The 16s went 3-1 again and are 6-2. And then the 15s also went 1-3 and then 2-6. So been a little bit of a rough start for in general for the program. But
17's really starting to kind of come around. Still got to figure out, you need some stops.
Yeah. Their losses were all close.
Like 5-4.
There was no blowouts, anything.
They had a scoring snafu, which seems to happen to some Coach Mitchell teams where the score went from 25-21, got flipped around. They ended up losing by 4. A lot of consternation, a lot of hand wringing in that one. And it was basically it was really a 6-point swing in that one, which was their third game. But finally, they got some good shooting, right? Neil Mosser came off of having a pretty good weekend shooting the basketball. So hopefully that he's been streaky, hasn't yet been able to find it. And, I thought Jaden Jackson played really well. CJ Mitchell shot the ball in game 2 fairly well. I think he might have been their leading scorer in game 2 with 14.
Yep.
Made a couple threes, got hit. He got fouled on a 3-pointer in the corner. I felt like could change the momentum of that one. But boy, they were playing against the level of you said it last week, and I think sometimes people don't really get it. The teams that they're playing are really good.
Like you said, Ian played against Ian Jackson. He had 30 on him. Dude going to North Carolina.
I watched the guy go for 40 and 8. They're playing against. I wanted to say Brentwood. It's not Brentwood. Brookwood.
Yeah.
They went 7-6. They went 7-6, 6-8 in the front court. That's the game. Should have won. Left that one on the table. Ended up losing late. A 3-point shot late with a foul did not help.
Yeah. So, 17s, they lost 72-77 against Team Loaded North Carolina. Again, it's a good program.
I tell you, what's his buckets is his name is escaping me. He has the little brother that plays too. He's basically Rex, a smaller version of Rex Chapman. And that's going to escape me. I felt like they held him in check. He hit some tough shots, especially late. Drew a ton of fouls. He's got a couple of Division I offers. It's a good program, and it got away from him late. Like the late game execution. It happened to him twice, but a couple guys had really good weekends. I felt like. Go ahead.
Jane Jackson had 18 in that first game. Neil Monster had 18 as well, 6 boards, and then
shot the lights out.
Caleb Benning, 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting, had 10 from Kevin Stubblefield. So they more again, you score 72, you just gave up 77. So the offense wasn't as much of a problem in that one. Brookwood Elite, little different story. It was 56-57 final. And like you said, up 3. Give up a 3 and they get a foul call and 1.
Yep.
And then don't even get a real shot attempt on the other end.
No, it's kind of a fling.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, CJ Mitchell had 14 on that, 6 of 10 shooting, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Caleb had 9 points, 3 of 6 shooting, 5 assists. So good backcourt play, but just not quite enough shooting around them. And then 83-77 was their one win against the New York Whiz Kids. And then 87-91 against the New York Jayhawks. So,
Jayhawks, that game was, they got up 11-0, went back-to-back with some threes, got an early timeout. Just had a really hard time keeping Ian Jackson contained. I think he finished with 31 in that one. But, I felt like they had a handful of guys that really had good weekends. I thought Neil Monster had a fantastic weekend. Jaden Jackson had a good weekend. Caleb Benning had a really good weekend. A couple of things we got to get a little bit of something from offensively or defensively between the combination of Cooper and a rope.
Yeah.
Will hasn't been able to find his shooting stroke since Des Moines, which he was torrid.
Yeah.
You're not going to shoot 9 of 13. What was he, 9 of 13? 12 of 6?
Yep.
Yeah, 9 of 13 in that one from behind the arc. So I just hope Will is not losing his confidence because he can get he takes some tough shots sometimes, but as long as he remembers he can help him on the defensive end and rebound the basketball, they're going to be okay. They're seeing elite level talent every weekend. Every weekend they're seeing elite level talent.
Yep, and again, this is a team that's used to winning a lot. And again, last year they were on the Adidas Gold that played their way up into the 3SSB and then did really well once they got there. But the week-to-week grind, this weekend they're stepping back out into non-live period play here down in Kansas City, but see some good teams down there. Yeah. Just got to keep building. Again, like it's this weekend was a step forward. It wasn't last weekend or the previous weekend. I think was pretty tough with some of those outcomes. Yeah. This is one. Hey, a few plays here or there, the outcome's different.
You could have easily been 3-1.
3-1, 4-0 even. Again, the lost by 4 or lost by 4, lost by 1, and lost by 5. Yep. Like those are toss-up games, and so that's something that you could take moving forward. Again, the 16s, they're tough, continue to play well, and they lost their first game against Power 5, 56-62. Braden Frager had 16 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks, and Bryson Ball had 10 points, but 56, not quite enough to get it done, but they bounced back the rest of the weekend, played really well. 63-54 against Team Lillard. Bryson had 26 on 50% shooting, 6 boards, 2 steals. Frager had 9. It seemed like early on Bryson was still trying to find his place on the team. He didn't do a ton over in Des Moines, wasn't super involved.
So he has really struggled with athleticism on the perimeter. Like guys get into him and He's kind of feeling his way now. He shook free a couple times in that one, and he made him pay. If he's only going to get 6 or 7 looks at it, and they're open, he's going to make 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. So you're going to get a quick 12 on you right away if you do not stay attached to him. Because I think the way that going forward, you're not going to get a ton of scouting reports, but if you pressure the ball, and you can extend Reese and Lazarick a little bit, stay attached to shooters. That's how teams that have success against them play them, right? They just don't help once those smaller guards get in the paint.
And then 2 blowouts to close out the weekend: 78-46 against Garner Road. Frager had 21 on 8 of 12 shooting, 6 rebounds. Lazarick Houston had 16. Good to see him get loose there. 3 assists.
He's so good defensively. He can help them out a multitude
I
of
did
ways.
not realize that about his game. That's something he's made big strides from last summer.
Yeah, he defends
and during the year, because blocks, steals, deflections, pressure. He's made big strides in that area.
They have some very, very spirited practices.
Yeah. And then Ball had 12 points, 3 assists on that one, 4-7 shooting. And then to close out the weekend, 72-52 win against Brookwood Elite. Robbie Garcia, been a little quiet start season, came up big with 18 points on 8 of 12 shooting.
Starting to come around.
Yeah. And then Frager, 13-5. Derek Rollins, again, who slow started the injury, trying to work his way back.
Getting healthy.
12.7 boards. So, that's a team that's got a lot of different guys that could do it from game to game. I know mentioned that Frager earned those offers. I know Greg McDermott's watching their last 2 games there. And good way to earn an offer, help your team win by, what is that? That 50 combined 52 points. Yeah. It's a good way to impress a coach.
And he's the one guy, because if you watch him warm up, you don't really think much of it except for Frager. Frager's the one guy where you're like, oh, he's different, because it's got a lot of guys that come across as a little unassuming. Even Rollins, for as good a player as he is, you don't watch him and you think, ooh, I know how he does it. He does this, this, and this. He's crafty. He's efficient. He's got decent size. He's got the long arms.
Yeah,
but
that's huge.
You don't look at him and think, ooh. But that team has a lot of mix and match components to them.
Yep. So that's, again, guys continuing to play well. Hopefully they can keep it rolling here down in Kansas City, and then kind of finishing up here with the 15s. Open the weekend with a nice 69-60 win over Team Phenom United. Nolan O'Neill shot the ball really well, 17 points, 6 of 10 shooting, 5 boards. Junior Garner just missed a double-double with 8 points and 11 rebounds. Fortunately, they went 0-3 the rest of the weekend with got lost by 20 to the Arkansas Hawks, but then lost again.
It's a fantastic program.
2 close ones to close out the weekend, 63-65 against Upward Stars. Donnie Barfield got loose in that one, 19 points on 7 of 8 shooting, 4 boards, 2 steals.
He's really capable.
Yeah.
Once he figures out the difference between neutral and drive.
Yeah.
This DB, he's got some talent.
Yeah. Major Monster, 15 points, 5 and 9 shooting.
Had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Major Monster had a good weekend. Both Major and Neil had good weekends shooting the basketball.
And Torrin Carter-Brown, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. So doing a little bit of everything at the point guard spot. And then, again, another close one, 64-67 loss against ASAK. Jackson Cruz had 15 points and 3 assists in that one to lead him.
He's got a chance to be a good player.
He's got some tools for sure.
Right? We'll see how the maturity and all that comes on, but he's got a nice skill set.
Yeah, good size for his position, good athleticism, can create off the bounce a little bit.
Be curious to see where all those guys end up at school. I imagine he's probably a Southwest guy, but we'll see who stays with him. It says we'll probably see a ton of movement in Lincoln.
Yeah, we'll probably get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, Lincoln's been pretty wild from what I've heard from coaches down there about kind of how the whole thing's played out.
Saw a couple at UBT this weekend that were echoing those same sentiments.
Yeah,
so they know it's coming.
Yeah, going to be a lot of faces and new places down in Lincoln next season.
So what are you looking forward to this weekend? And well, let's do what you're looking forward to in KC before we give our shout outs.
Yeah. Again, get a chance to see the ETGs back in person again. we'll get to see AEF will be down there as well. Andy Beck's program over there.
They're pretty good.
They had, the 16s. They had a good weekend over there at the Prep Hoops event they were at, the Jayhawk Jam. They won all their games in that one. So excited to see those guys again. I saw them that first weekend. So yeah, just game to game. It'd be nice I like mixing it up. So got to see some teams last weekend, and now got to see mix in the AEF, get the ETG again. So get a nice kind of different view of teams that we can talk about here on the pod.
Yeah, and we're all under one roof. How about that?
Yeah, the old Hy-Vee Arena.
Me, you, and the rest of our crew. Fantastic. We'll be ready for you. It'll be a full gamut. And again, under the same roof, we'll get you covered. That's Jacob Padilla. I'm ODB. It's Nebraska Preps Postgame. We'll be back next week on a Wednesday. Don't you dare miss us.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.